This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Tolles. Here. Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Eccles. Here. Billingsley.
Here.
Councilman Cannon and Councilman Reed are absent this evening. We do have a quorum present, and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Brian Harbison to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the blessings of life. We thank you for giving us today. We thank you for allowing us to be here. And God, we just ask your blessings on our time together. We pray especially for the council, that you'll just anoint them with wisdom and knowledge and doing what is right for the city. Thank you for the mayor and his administration. Just pray that you'll continue to keep your hand on him and bless him. Thank you again for all your blessings. Thank you for your son, Jesus, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and city council meeting held on August 18th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the week of August 14th through the 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamations, Mayor.
I'd like to ask Miss Judy Atkins to come up, please. Anybody with her is fine. I just had one name. Sorry. Whereas every year thousands of children across America are diagnosed with cancer, and often life-threatening illness that remains the leading cause of death by disease for children under the age of 15. The causes of pediatric cancer are still largely unknown, and though new discoveries are resulting in new treatments, this heartbreaking disease continues to scar families and communities in ways they may never fully heal. Although work continues in the fight to understand, treat, and control childhood cancer, the researchers around the world pioneering new therapies and exploring root causes of the disease, driving the progress that could reveal cures or improved outcomes for patients. Help still does not come soon enough for many of our sons and daughters, and too many families suffer pain and devastating loss. We wish to remember the young lives taken too soon and to stand with the families facing childhood cancer today. Whereas we pay tribute to the families, friends, professionals, communities who lend their strength to children fighting pediatric cancer, and hope that their courage and commitment will continue to move us forward to new cures, healthier outcomes, and a brighter future for America's youth. Therefore, I, Sherman Guyton, Mayor of the City of Gadsden, do hereby proclaim September 2015 as National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and encourage everyone to join in reaffirming our commitment to fighting this terrible disease.
I'm not a politician, so I don't have a lot to say, okay? But I did write something down, and it took me by surprise, but what the mayor read was really, really informative and everything, and I almost started not to read this. But anyway, it said more children die of cancer every year than the adults died in 9/11. Cancer kills more children than AIDS, asthma, diabetes, cystic fibrosis, anyway, and congenital anomalies combined. The average age of the death of a child with cancer is 8. And to simplify, Each year, nearly 100,000 children under 15 die from cancer worldwide. That's almost 250 a day. And so, looking at just the United States, there's an estimated 15,780 between the ages of birth to 19 that are diagnosed with cancer. Now, because of my granddaughter, Bailey Phillips, I know a little bit more about brain tumors. And what I know is that about approximately 13 children are diagnosed daily with brain tumors, and that's one of the most deadly diseases of children. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all of you for this. The only way we're going to cure childhood cancer is through awareness. The federal government gives less than 4% of the money they give out for research to children's cancer. The American Cancer Society gives 3% of what they give out for children's cancer. So it's up to the mothers, the grandmothers, and the grandfathers, and the fathers to raise this money. But we want to thank y'all so much for this. It's for our children, and our children are our future. And a special thanks from Bailey, my granddaughter who has neuroblastoma. Her name is Hannah. And for Anderson Thrower, who's Jimmy Hicks's grandson. Thank you.
Item number 8A is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to add bed and breakfast facilities. And it is before us today. This ordinance was presented last week for first reading in response to requests from interested persons who wish to purchase property near the downtown area. The Planning Department has requested this amendment to the zoning ordinance. It would establish guidelines and operating parameters for bed and breakfast establishments, such as size of guest rooms, number of bathrooms, off-street parking spaces, signs, food services, etc. Parties or events would not be allowed. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval. What is the pleasure of the council?
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
The next item is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to permit bed and breakfast facilities. This ordinance was presented last week for the first reading. It relates to the previous ordinance and adds bed and breakfast to the chart of permitted uses. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended the council approve the ordinance. What is the pleasure of the council?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
This is an ordinance that sort of helps us with guidelines if there is a bed and breakfast to be established in a residential area. So now we have guidelines that would be in place in order for a person who wants to do that would have something to go by.
Okay. All right. Is there any additional discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
This is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 1001 Avenue G in District 3. New Life Family Worship and Tanya Latham being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Please state your name and address, please.
My name is Tanya Latham. My address is 917 Virginia Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama, 35903. Again, my name is Tanya Latham. I serve as pastor of New Life Family Worship Center. We acquired this property in August of 2010. At the time of purchasing the property, we did not know the situation that was with the property. We finished paying for the property in 2011, and just last week, we received a letter stating the condition of the property. Our plan is to, when we purchase the property, is to have an activity center for the youth of our church. Knowing now the condition of it, we will start the process of making the property what it should be and starting those plans to get the property where it needs to be. And that's what we're asking of the council.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Latham.
Is that all?
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, I'm Brian Harbison, and I talked with Pastor Latham yesterday at great length about this situation. When they purchased the property, as required by law, the owner failed to mention that the property was condemned, and so they were not aware of that. They made all the payments. It was not through a mortgage company or a bank, or a title search would have been done, in which case they would have found that it was condemned. And so they purchased the property completely unaware that it was condemned. I believe that they have a sincere use and plan for the building, and I would certainly go along with requesting this be tabled for 30 days. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor? What's the pleasure of the council?
I would like to table it for 30 days. Would that be enough, or do you need a little more time?
Is it 30 days supposed to start?
Right, to start. That would be fine, okay. Well, I recommend that we table it for 30 days. Second.
Okay. All right, is there any discussion? I will echo Mr. Harbison's sentiment. You're not going to find a much finer person. Mrs. Latham is a very good person, and we do definitely believe that if she commits herself to bringing it up to code, it'll happen. So, okay. All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to table the resolution for 30 days, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to table for 30 days.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 1335 Hill Avenue in District 3, LaVille Properties, LLC being the last known owner. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started our case in January of 2014. There have been no improvements. There are no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate, please.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 309 Tarrant Court in District 3. The estate of Annie Grace Sanders is in care of Anita Sanders Howard being the last known owner. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started this case involving a burned duplex in August of 2012. There have been no improvements. There are no permits to improve. And we're asking today for resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. Mayor, you remember I asked you about brick houses? Do you think this might be one that we might try it and see if we could work it? Yeah, get the brick to recycle it? Okay.
I'll find out.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 812 South 12th Street in District 5. Ronnie E. Pollard and Thomas A. Badley, receiver for Community Home Bank Incorporated, successor to Mortgage Investors, Inc., being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution?
Mr. President, based on recent improvements, we're asking that this case be tabled for 30 days. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. What's the pleasure of the council?
I move that we delay the, I would table it for 30 days.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to table the resolution for 30 days, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to table for 30 days.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 2218 Hill Avenue in District 6. FNA NP LLC and Jeff Gilchrist being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started this case in September of 2014. There have been no improvements to the property. There are no permits to improve, and we're asking for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
District 6.
Clerk, will you?
Councilman Cannon asked us to abate them, so that's what we're gonna do.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 19 Sandusky Lane in District 6. Robert S. Jones being the last known owner. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution?
How y'all doing? I'm Robert Stephen Jones on the property. I have 23 different rental properties, several that I'm in process of fixing up. Not this Brian, but the other Brian from the inspectors has actually worked with me on several different ones and knows that I will fix them up. If I could have 30 days to show some improvement or whatever, take pictures, have them come out and look at it, I'll be glad to. If you just give me a little bit of time, I'll get something going on it there.
Okay. Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started this case in April of 2012. There have been no improvements. There was a building permit taken out in May of 2012. As you can tell in the pictures, no work has been done. We're asking for a resolution today to abate this nuisance. Thank you.
What is the pleasure of the council?
I move to abate.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
The only thing that I can say to the gentleman is that we're following through with this, and if there's anything else, you might need to talk to Mr. Harbison. I know that once we abate it, but I'm sure that there are circumstances where they can work with you on this. But according to this, and this is 2012, and I'm sure if Councilman Cannon was here, he would probably do the same thing. So right now, we're going to follow through with looking at the pictures. We just need to go ahead and abate this.
Okay, is there any more discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisances on property located at 20 Sandusky Lane in District 6, the state of Alabama and Connie Tucker being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor?
Mr. President, we started this case in September of 2014. There have been no improvements to the property. There are no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
What is the pleasure of the council?
I move to abate.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearings, which are items 16 through 19, are resolutions assessing nuisance abatement liens against property. This is for demolition that has already been performed, and we have 4 locations. I'm going to read the addresses and names, and anyone who wishes to speak about any of these may come forward. 904 Wilson Avenue in District 2. The amount is $2,916.20. The next item is 1302 Cowell Avenue in District 3, $3,066.20. The next one is 808 Roger Street in District 3, $3,965.88. And the last one is 810 Roger Street in District 3, $3,915.88. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to any of these resolutions? Does anyone wish to speak in favor? The chair will entertain a motion to adopt all 4 resolutions.
So moved.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt all 4 resolutions, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt all 4.
Okay. New business, is there any new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have one. I ask for unanimous consent to request a resolution authorizing public hearing on proposed economic development agreement with Beltline Canterbury LLC.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yes, this is a new store that's coming out in Canterbury Station, and they're going to get some tax abatement to make improvements. It's going to be, I forget the amount of money, but it's going to be an economic boom to Canterbury Station. And we normally do this for businesses that are coming in to improve the area and to help the city.
Yeah. This is the old Food World location,
Yes.
and the incentive agreement, Mayor, if you want to speak to that.
We were going to rebate them $400,000 and give them 4 years to get to that point or it's off. But they're going to be tying up about $2.5 million to redo that, landscaping, new lights, paving, So it's going to be a big plus, and I know a lot of people have been wanting to store there. And there's 3 of these in Birmingham. They're real nice. It's also Americanized. They have a bakery and I think a cafe food bar deal, so it's going to be a good thing for that area.
Yeah, but I actually had the benefit of seeing at least one of these, and it's going to be a good thing for Alabama City.
Annual sales are predicting $8 million.
Wow.
Yep.
And as the mayor mentioned, it's backfilling a vacant piece of property that was vacated, piece of commercial property that was vacated by Food World. So this will be good in terms of backfilling some legacy property there. Okay, any more discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any more new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have another one where I ask for unanimous consent to hear the ordinance conveying property located at 2330 Hill Avenue to D. Patricia Teague and Rita J. Crabtree for the amount of $250 to the city.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the ordinance today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have unanimous consent for consideration.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this is a deal where the building department has recommended we accept this offer from them because they have taken care of this property and helped the neighborhood look better for years. So this is a kind of a bonus for us to get a little money out of it, and it gets back on the tax roll, and the city and the state and everybody receives some money from that.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Is there any more new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have 3 items. They're requests from the engineering department, and the first one is 349, which has to do with authorizing the negotiated contract for a bid with McCarthy. The other one has to do with authorizing supplementary tri-party agreement with River Trace Venture, LLC, and Grissom Family Property, LLC, for the construction of US 431 SR1 and 6th Street North improvement. Basically, this is over in the off of Meeting Boulevard in the East Gadsden area near the Gander building. Also, this is item 366 from the engineering department. This is authorizing agreement with Contour Engineering to perform construction material testing service for the 6th Street North Improvement Project. These are all the first budget is $589,746, which will be shared, and the budget for the North 6th Street improvement is $17,480. So I ask for unanimous consent to approve these agreements.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider all 3 resolutions today under new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
I move for adoption.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Basically, in a nutshell, this is improvement over on the area near the where the new shopping area is, or where River Trace is. Just going to make it improvement and better for business, and probably open up new business ventures in that particular area. So this is just improvement on that area for the city.
Yeah, and as Councilwoman Toles mentioned, this is an expense that'll be split 3 ways. So the city will not have to take on the will not have to take on all of this expense, and this is much more good news and good activity in the River Trace development area. This will, as she mentioned, will help to facilitate more development in that area. So we're very excited about that.
And it also will help with the traffic. You know, we have a little bottleneck over there sometimes, especially during the lunch hour. So this will also help with the traffic.
Yep. Okay. Is there any additional discussion? Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt all three resolutions, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries to adopt all three.
Is there any more new business?
Yes, Mr. President, I have one request by the engineering department. It's a resolution rejecting all bids received for the Nakalota Falls Park walking path. They all came in over bid, so we want to reject it. Ask for unanimous consent.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today under new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move to adopt, please.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay. Is there any more new business? Department reports, committees? Okay. Remarks by the mayor and council? Mayor?
I don't have anything.
You're spent from last week, huh?
I said all I could think of to say.
All right. Councilwoman Toles?
I'd just like to thank all the people in my area, my constituents in District 1 for attending the district meeting last night. It was a very good meeting, and I appreciate them attending.
Thank you. Councilman Eccles? Okay. Councilman Worthy? Councilman Billingsley?
Nothing.
Okay. I do have a couple of things. So I do want to recognize our mayor. He's been recognized by the Boys and Girls Club as their 2015 CARE Award winner. So I think that's a big deal. Speaks to his commitment to children and the needs of youth service and youth build programs. So congratulations, Mayor. All right. I was asked to make the announcement that the recycling center will be closed Wednesday, the 26th. So that's tomorrow, due to paving. So this is progress. I see some affirmative acknowledgments out there. It is a good thing. So we're excited about that. So again, it should be closed tomorrow, and as far as I know, it's going to reopen on Thursday. So that's a good thing. And lastly, I want to recognize the First Baptist Church. We attended their 160th anniversary. It's actually Brian Harbison's church. Got a chance to hear him sing. I was a little disappointed that he didn't do a solo.
Yeah, me too.
I think he chickened out on us, but that's okay. But we really enjoyed it. Really appreciate Pastor Alexander for the invitation for sure. And do want to thank Dr. Harold Cushing for a couple things. He delivered a great message. He's a former pastor there, and I think he delivered a very good message. And he kept Billy awake, so there was a couple of things that I was really proud of. But really enjoyed it, and best of wishes to them as they move past 160. Okay. All right. Is there anything else? Entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.